Welcome to the study session for March 18th, 2024. Welcome to the City of Westminster Council study session for March 18th. We thank you for coming and would like to remind all in attendance that our meetings are subject to the rules of decorum that are posted inside the chamber doors. These rules are in effect while our meetings are in session, as well as during breaks and transitions between meetings. We want to be sure all feel welcome and remind all there is an expectation that no attendee shall disrupt this meeting and that threats and intimidation are prohibited. No attendee shall engage in audible expressions of support or opposition for any speaker. Signs and placards are not prohibited, and all attendees shall remain seated in the seats provided, not in the aisles, nor shall the doorways be blocked. City Council reports. Councilor Izadi, any reports?
No.
Councilor Hott.
I attended the last Blueprint Task Force meeting with Adams County 5-Star Schools. And then last week I attended NLC, which was really exciting. I hope I get to go again next year. I was able to meet and build relationships with mayors and city councilors from all over the country. And they had department open office hours, which I thought was, that was one of my favorite parts of it, actually. So I met with the Department of Human Services, the Department of Justice, HUD, and I spoke to the EPA specifically about the runway at our MMA that's going to be removed. When I had asked CDPHE about that, they said that it would be the EPA. So I live in one of the areas that has a hole with cellular service, so I'm pretty sure the EPA called on Friday because I saw I had a missed message or a missed call from a restricted number. Didn't leave a message. Of course, my phone didn't ring, even though it was sitting right next to me. So hopefully they call so I can direct them to staff. And then I also mentioned the resident concerns regarding the Rocky Mountain Greenway. I'm pretty sure they already know about it, but just wanted to bring up our resident concerns. And then heard from some really great speakers, including the president. That was exciting to get to find out that he was one of our speakers. So text my mom and my dad, I'm in the same room as the president. So that was exciting. And then I saw Representative Pedersen and Senators Hickenlooper and Bennett. And Senator Hickenlooper actually had a message that he asked us come back and give to our city councils regarding the housing crisis. He asked us to increase density and build more missing middle housing. And then I met with our NLC regional rep, so I found out about a lot more resources to help learn how to be a better city councilor. And I just want to mention that Kate did an amazing job helping with this trip. She put together a really nice itinerary. She made things really, really easy for me. So I just wanted to give a shout out to her because she just did such an amazing job. And then, and then I don't want to forget to, so I also met with our judge and staff to learn more about the courthouse and took a tour, and I enjoyed that very much. And so I have some dates so I can go watch our judge in action because I found it very, very enjoyable to learn more about that. And then I also want to thank Manager Freitag. So I watched last week, since I missed, I wanted to keep up on everything. And so I just wanted to thank you for sharing information with schools and on social media regarding the lead and the lead testing. So I know that's just the beginning, but thank you so much for taking the lead and doing that. So I appreciate that. And I believe that's all I have so far for councilor comments or updates.
Councilor Camelia.
Yes, so last week was the North Metro Arts meeting, and it was the same day as the snowstorm, so I did not end up going to that, so I'll look forward to the next upcoming meeting. But the following week, on Wednesday, I just mentioned we have the Environmental Advisory Board for Westminster. I'm really proud that they're doing our first ever regional summit, so that's really exciting. We'll get to see what other cities have to say. And I also wanted to announce that I have been looking for a time to invite residents to speak with me, and I've finally found when that will be. So if we can ask our communications to put that on my profile on the webpage, that would be great. So 9:30, starting April 6th. on every other Saturday. I'll meet at Zoe's Coffee. And in the spirit of myself trying to get healthier and a lot of other folks I know getting healthier, I'm gonna walk. I found a path that's about a mile, and so it'll be a walk and talk. We'll meet at 9:30. We'll walk for a mile, and then we can, if you want to skip the walk, then you can meet me at 10:15 at Zoe's Coffee, and we can chat there. But otherwise, I'd love to get a little group and do that every other Saturday. So you can find me there. And then I just wanted to say thank you, Manager Freitag. Last week you gave very detailed information on the that Greenway path, and I appreciate that, as well as Counselor Island. Thank you for those links that gave further information on that. That's all been very helpful.
Thank you.
Counselor Ireland?
So I listened into the Inclusivity Board meeting. I was having problems with my Teams again. Hopefully tonight I got it figured out, we'll see. Anyway, I could see them and hear them, but they couldn't see me. But I did type a couple questions, and they answered those. So the primary meeting was a gentleman named Chris Lind from the Senior Resource Center in Arvada, who takes care of the seniors. And I did ask how many seniors in Westminster use their nonprofit, and it was he told me 3,500 in the area, but only 50 in Westminster. But there's a big need for transportation, food, and housing because of everything getting more and more expensive. Lots of seniors are on the brink of losing their houses. He always needs more volunteers. And so I suggested that he go to the Just Serve website. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but nonprofits can put up any needs they have, and then volunteers can sign up on that site. And it's a really good resource. And I went on there, and we have several things from Westminster on there. But it kind of ties the needs to the volunteers, and that's what he really needed because there's never enough volunteers. So that's what I listened into this week.
What's the website called? Just
Serve.
See, so last week I sort of dove into the first subcommittee meeting for Front Range Passenger Rail. There's 2 more this week.
Oh, God.
Including a much more in-depth work session with that board, focused on the ballot measure that's coming up that they may or may not put on the ballot.
They're still looking at 24 or 26?
For the ballot. We don't, that's,
That's the question.
yes, to be or not to be. So that's sometime. Then there was also Dr. Cog this week, so it'll be a busy week, just getting up to date on everything.
Transportation.
And land use. That's about it. Yep, that's my whole week.
We have St. Baldrick's on Sunday from 11 to 12:30, and a shout out to one of the original people that started that back when Shay participated with his cancer, because he lost his one of the people that started this whole thing lost his brother yesterday morning. So my heart goes out to him. For me, I haven't given an update lately. I have another marker test at the end of the month. Their scheduling didn't work, so I have to remember to call, make sure which dates. I have scans on Wednesday. It's sort of that rotation now starting, so I have one on Wednesday. I see the cardio doctor that I haven't seen since surgery because I've been going through the surgeon. Now I go transfer to her. And Counselor DeMont wanted me to remind everybody policy in Pilsner is always the third Thursday at 6:30 at Cocabelli's. So. What do you have?
All right, Mayor Pro Tem Councilors, we'll get started on the manager's report. So next slide, please. So first of all, city certainly recognizes with the heavy snowfall, especially it being a wet snowfall, that we have a lot of downed limbs across the city. And so on March 23rd, which is Saturday, this coming Saturday, 8 a.m. to noon. The Brow property, which is on the west side of the city, it's normally where people turn in any kind of trees, limbs, brush, leaves, etc. But it'll be open for people to deposit any limbs that they're able to manage to collect up from their yards, etc. It will be muddy out there. We'll have to have folks dropping or dumping on the gravel, and there could be long wait times depending upon the amount of patronage that we see. The forestry team does work with our snowplow operators, and if there are large limbs, things that need chainsaws to be reduced, things like that, the city is more than happy to get out and clean those up if necessary. However, most of those have already been addressed because we are working in tandem with our snowplow operators. They report them to the forestry team. If you want to learn anything more about this program, you can certainly visit our website /tree limb recycling. But again, Saturday morning, and if we still have folks that have a need, we can open it up in the future, but we'll get a start on it this weekend. Next slide. Wildland fire training exercise. Want to give everybody in the community a heads up. We'll obviously do this with social media and city messaging, but between March 17th and the 22nd, Westminster Fire Department is operating out at Metzger Farm doing wildland fire training. Now, it's important to note they won't be setting any actual fires to reduce, but working through their tactics, their techniques, their procedures on how to do that. So people are going to see, they're going to see trucks, ambulances, brush trucks, you name it, and a lot of firefighter personnel out there. But the key is that no actual fire will be used in this event. And the public can still come out and use Metzger Farm and walk on the trails, that's fine. But we just want to make sure that if people see a bunch of fire apparatus at Metzger Farm, that's what it is. It's just training for wildland incidents. Next slide. St. Baldrick's Day event, Mayor just mentioned this, but our mayor, city councilors, community members, and staff raise money for St. Baldrick's Foundation and fight childhood cancer. The Yacht Club Salon will host the event, and it's Sunday, March 24th, so next Sunday, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So far, the community's raised over $205,000 since this began in 2012. You can certainly learn more and support the cause at the website listed there, www.stbaldricks.org/event/Westminster 2024. And you too can have green hair and get it shaved. So, great picture.
We have multiple colors hair.
Yeah.
And sometimes the way it falls, it creates artwork.
There you go. Okay. All right. Next slide. Next thing, just for the community, a heads up, we've, we'll be talking to the council here in the future about long-term capital investment and needs. And so as part of the solutioning for that, we're getting some community feedback and through public engagement. And so a community survey is going to hit the streets on Wednesday of this week and run for about a week. And that survey will be either via phone or a new technology using SMS and texting. But it's specifically focused on our fire department's stationing/building needs, equipment needs, personnel needs, in order to continue to support a growing and expanding community. And so we think we'll get a better understanding of what our fire department services should be, and what's most valued, and then more importantly, how do we address the needs that we currently have. And so that will be available on the city's website on Wednesday on how you can participate if you want to sign up. But again, we'll be running that for about a week to gather data to share with the council as part of a solutioning problem for this need. Next slide. Westy Wins, great effort by our police department, recruiting up at CSU. We know that, recruiting for police officers is challenging across the nation. Frankly, Westminster's doing great right now, but that doesn't come easily, and we certainly don't take it for granted. And so some of our own former Division I athletes are making inroads in their alma maters, which is pretty cool kind of connection back to those schools to get in front of some of the teams because those teams understand commitment, teamwork, and excellence. And so recently, prior to a job fair at CSU, Commander Drew Smith and Investigator Jesse Cohen were able to address the seniors on the football team about coming to be police officers or potentially making connections to our police department with people that they know. And so we've got 3 folks that have signed up to do ride-alongs, learn more. One passed on some information to his wife, who's already applied to be a public safety telecommunicator. But as I said, it's a tough fight out there to find qualified, willing, and superb candidates. And I'm just applaud the efforts that the police department has done to kind of rethink how they recruit folks and what those methods are. So this is a great example. Next slide. Some things to know. So special permits and license board meeting Wednesday this week, 7 to 8:30 p.m. has been canceled. The limb recycling that we just mentioned, Saturday, March 23rd, 8 to noon at the Brow property, and that's 10001 Alkire Street, essentially extreme west end of town. The adult egg hunt goes Saturday, March 23rd from 4 to 7 p.m. That's at Walnut Creek Golf Preserve. As mentioned, St. Baldrick's Day, Sunday, March 24th, 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the Yacht Club Salon. And our next city council meeting is Monday, March 25th, 6:30 right here. Next slide. Information only items this evening, Unified Code Development Housing. Next slide. And as always, want to remain accessible, responsive, transparent, certainly accountable. You can contact my office at 303-658-2006. You can email me directly at mfreitag@westminsterco.gov. And you can follow us on social media by liking us on Facebook, checking us out on Instagram, liking us, if you will, on X, or ringing our bell at Nextdoor. Any questions, that's all I have.
Questions?
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, councilors. We've got 3 presentations tonight. First one is a presentation and update on downtown Westminster Center Park. That's not the final name, but that's the name that we're using now. But that's essentially the hub of recreational activity in our growing downtown.
I apologize. I did have a question on the information
Sure.
only item. And it was just to see if we were addressing, as part of the housing-related UDC amendments, if we're gonna be addressing parking per unit and guest parking in relation to, the different types of housing sizes and units that we're looking to.
Yes. So we're just in the framework stages of the code right now. This memo was really intended to be, an opportunity to touch base with the city council, let you all know where we are, some critical points where we want to touch base with you again. One of those being the presentation of the housing needs assessment, as well as pending state legislation and how that might shape the future of the code. So right now, we're just in the framing stages of it. We're putting together the chapters, the content, all those details will be added in as soon as we know a little bit more about the direction that you all want to go in housing policy and the direction that the state may end up mandating that we go. But yeah, parking.
One thought is, if you are introducing new concepts in relation to different housing types that we may not have much of in the city, I think it would be useful to give some examples of, hey, it's working well, and that's why we're recommending this
Yes.
in these, so just examples that we can look at and go check out.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks, John. And so we'll begin the presentation on Downtown Center Park, and that will be led by our Parks, Rec, and Libraries Director, Tomas Herrera-Mischler.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and councilors. It's really a great pleasure to be here tonight to talk about the design for this park. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it? I'm looking at Mayor Pro Tem, who knows a lot about this project. So really, this park is poised to become the heart of our new downtown. And I think the design is really offering a lot of dynamic spaces for our residents to come and really connect with each other, to play and unwind and really just enjoy being in our new downtown. So really the design emphasizes flexibility. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the different areas in the park and what we're thinking, how those areas can be utilized. I have a brief presentation tonight, so there'll be lots of time for question at the end. So the opening slide shows the master plan for all the parks and green areas planned for the downtown area. And the Center Park's 3-acre site is highlighted with that fluorescent box around it. You can also see the existing buildings have been very clearly indicated. The park that we're talking about, it's got Eaton Boulevard to the east. It's kind of northeast, and Fenton on